everybody, my name is Kaylani and welcome back to my book corner. Today we are going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag. This will be my first time participating in this tag, as this is my first time on YouTube in the bookish community at all. So we will go ahead and just jump right into it. My necklace is a little tight, but we will carry on. So I have my iPad here with all of the prompts, and the first one is the best book you have read this year, and that is definitely Such a Fun Age by Kelly Reid. I love that book so much, and like when I first read it, it was definitely a lower star because some of the characters really irked me, and I was like, I cannot with these people. But as I spend more time away with it, I understand that that was the point, and so I have since raised my rating to a 5-star because I love the way the book was written. I love its points. I love what it says, and I just love all of it. So Such a Fun Age by Kelly Reid is definitely one of my favorite books so far this year, and it's the one that popped right into my head when I saw this prompt. The best sequel so far this year is kind of a hard one for me because I have not read a lot of sequels. I've read 3, and none of them really stood out exceptionally, but the only one that I enjoyed reading was Lethal Game by Christine Feehan. It is a paranormal kind of they're not robo, they're like genetically enhanced soldiers is what they are. And it's like book 17 in the series, so it's just like, it's not it's a book, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like one of the best books I've read this year. It was just a good sequel, I guess. The other 2 sequels I read were just like meh, and so they don't even need to be talked about. So Lethal Game by Christine Feehan. The next one is a new anticipated release you have not read yet, and for this one I actually have 2 books that came out today that I am pretty excited for. So they are already out, but I have not read them yet. And that is Party of Two by Jasmine Guillory and Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. And they are both so for Jasmine Guillory, it's really hit or miss with a lot of her books for people, but I have loved all of them except for one, and the one I didn't like is because it was about an older person, and that obviously didn't connect with me, so I didn't enjoy that one as much, but I still enjoyed it. It was still a 3-star book, and the rest of them have been 5 stars, The Proposal being my favorite. But I'm not hit or miss with Jasmine, so I'm not sure if that says something about me. I don't know. But I like all of the books that she has read or written. And then Talia Hibbert, I've only written and read. They're not clicking in my head right now. But I have only read Get a Life, Chloe Brown by her, and I'm really excited to pick up Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which is Chloe's sister in the series. But yeah, that is all I gotta say on that one. So the most anticipated for the second half of the year, I really don't have a book. I have a list of books that are coming out, but I don't really plan that far ahead in my life. So there's not one that jumps out at me because I'm just finishing my June releases and now we're starting my July releases because my life cannot be planned more than a month ahead, I guess, right now. So I really don't have an anticipated release for the rest of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that question for now, but maybe in a different video I can let you know. My biggest disappointment for 2020 is probably a book called Dragonmark by Sherilyn Kenyon, and this book, I really don't have a lot to say about it. I don't think it needed to be a book. Could have been a novella. Didn't need to be a whole book. Didn't need to spend the amount of time on it that I did, which is really upsetting because Sherilyn Kenyon is one of my favorite authors. I've been reading her since freshman year of high school, and I really love her, and this book almost made me not want to buy any more of her books, which is very upsetting for me. But we will see going forward what she puts out and what I like. This isn't a new release. It was definitely a release from a couple of years ago, because I'm just catching back up to a lot of the books that I missed when I had really relaxed my reading. So that is probably my biggest disappointment for sure so far in 2020. My biggest surprise though in 2020 is Dear Edward by Ann Napolitano, and The reason it's a big surprise is because previously in like the last couple years, I haven't read a ton, and what I did read was mostly romance. And so this year I decided I was going to be following some book clubs to kind of get me out of my comfort genres. And so I started, I think it was a Barnes & Noble month pick that it was, and it was great. I loved it so much. But now in June of 2020, I can say it's probably exactly the type of book that I like. It has a lot of the same things that I am finding that I like in my 5-star books in 2020. So it could just be like I had missed out on a whole genre I didn't know about, which was the point of me reading new book clubs. So we won that. And my favorite new author that is new to me, she's not a new author. I'm not sure when her debut novel came out, but that was Celeste Ng. And I've started Little Fires Everywhere, but I haven't finished it yet. But her first book, Everything I Never Told You, was like, oh, it was perfect. Perfect. I loved so much about it. And the way it's written, it's kind of like a little bit of a mystery book, but it was great. Great. I highly recommend Celeste Ng if you like family dramas, struggling with grief, all that good stuff, all that really good emotional stuff. It was so good. She's a really great writer, or I really enjoy the way she writes. So that is my new favorite author for 2020. Okay, so the next one is newest Fictional Crush. And y'all, I have a lot. And they're all from romance novels. Not surprised. So we have Red from Get a Life, Chloe Brown. He is amazing. I love everything about him. He's like, don't change. We'll work it out. Boom. Bada bang. I love it. And then Jay from The Trouble with Hating You, he's the same way. He's just like very supportive, and he's like, I'm not here to try to change you. I think you are the best you are. Like, he is great. And then we have Gavin from Intercepted, which Intercepted is a new series. Like, I just started it this month, and I am loving it so far. I'm already on book 3. We are loving Intercepted. And so Gavin from Intercepted, he's just like the sweet guy, and he did make some questionable choices at the end of Intercepted, which we will forgive him for because he may have made up for them since. But for the most part in that book, I really liked him. And then Billy from Beard With Me by Penny Reed. Oh, I love Billy. And I knew I was going to love Billy because I read Beard With Me, which is like the 6th book in the series. And I have loved Billy in all of the books leading up to that. But this was Billy's like first half of his romance story, and I loved it so much. Okay, moving on. So after all of those new crushes, we will talk about my favorite character I've read this year, and that is Ara, I think is how you pronounce her name, from If I Had Your Face. And she is like a badass bitch. Like, I don't want to give spoilers, but there's this part in that book where she like smashes this girl's face into a toilet because she had been like bullying her. And these are adults, like, well, yeah, like adults in their early 20s. And I was like, get it, girl. Defend yourself. So she's beautiful and I love her, and everyone should read If I Had Your Face. A book that made you cry was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Like I said, it was a lot of like emotional family drama, and it was great, and I loved it, and it definitely made me cry. The ending gave me goosebumps. It was a great read because like the thread is one of the children has died, and it's like the family like grappling with the death of the favorite child, or the child that kind of held them all together. Y'all, this book was so good. It made me cry. It made me feel things for so many characters, and it was so good. I highly recommend it. And then after crying, what book made you laugh? And we're kind of going to do a weird one, which is Desperate Measures by, I think her name is Katie Roberts. And this book made me laugh because it made me very uncomfortable. Very. This is my like first super smutty romance, and it was smutty. I have definitely never read anything this graphic. So my 26-year-old self was like, I can't. So, but there's that. But it definitely made me laugh, but an uncomfortable laugh. But I didn't have anything else that like made me bust out laughing this year. So that's the one we went with. And then the most beautiful book that I have purchased so far this year is, I'm actually going to pick 2 books because they're hardcovers and I love them and they're so beautiful. So the first one is The Black Flamingo by, I think is Dean Atta, or Attier. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's got these flamingos on there. I don't know if it's going to focus because they're pretty hard to see, and it's beautiful in this like hot pink and the black like flamingo outline. Stunning. And then we also have Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and like it is also beautiful. And then I hear that like all of her books are beautiful like this, so I'm gonna have to look into that because I need more beautiful books like this on my shelves. So those are the 2 most beautiful books that I have gotten this year, and if their books continue to keep looking like that, we're going to continue picking up their books. They're going to be strict cover buys, but if the content inside of these beautiful covers is anything like those ones, they're going to be good books anyways. And then the last one is books that I hope to read this year. And I have so many books I hope to read this year. Like I said, I've got Party of Two and Take a Hint, Danny Brown. The Bright Side of Going Dark. I have like my whole shelf. I'm just like looking at all of the books. And really, I don't want to have a book more than 12 months. Like unread more than 12 months. So I'm hoping that I can really get them out. I am going to start going back and looking at my like hauls that I've already done and be like, we need to read those books because there's still a lot of books I need to read. But those are all of the prompts I have for you for the mid-year freakout tag. Hopefully you learned something about me. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what the point of this is. Maybe just like a check-in to see where we are through the year. But that's all I have for you today. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye!